very good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America in Washington on Monday, May 1st, 2023. This is Live Talk. I am Kip Stube. Tonight we are discussing alleged rampant corruption in Zimbabwe, following reports that President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, and others were involved in a shady chrome deal signed in 2017. Controversial businessman Kutakwashe Dakwirei allegedly signed a $120 million chrome deal with a South African businessman Zunei Timoti on November 17, 2017. Investigations by the Sentry revealed that the deal was signed while the military was in the process of toppling then Zimbabwean leader, the late President Robert Mugabe. According to the Sentry, some of the proceeds of the chrome deal were channeled to Mr. Mnangagwa's farms and Mr. Chiwenga's proxies. The president has also been linked to a gold smuggling scam, allegedly involving suspected gold cartels in Dubai, South Africa, and Britain. A sting operation titled Gold Mafia, done by Al Jazeera in a 4-part documentary series, linked Mnangagwa, his wife, Auxilia, central bank staffers, and civil aviation and airport officials to the scam. Gold worth millions of dollars mined in Zimbabwe is being allegedly sold in Dubai and other nations, while money is laundered in the process through the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe and other banks in South Africa. The Zimbabwean government says it is investigating the allegations. Yebambe Zuluganda Balinjani lapelkona namhla sihlolisisa okwenzakala eZimbabwe okubeka ukuthi kulobukhohlakali obumangalisayo obugoqela umongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa, umsekeli wakhe umnumzana Constantino Chiwenga, usomabhizimusi umnumzana Kutakwashe Dakwirei, labanye ababikwa ukuba bemba ichrome mahlayana bebambisana labosomabhizimusi kwele South Africa. Umnangagwa kubikwa ukuba ulesandla njalo ekwenziweni kwegolide elithengiswa ngudlu kwele Dubai. But first, a quick look at other stories in Zimbabwe and other nations. In Sudan, the United Nations says the war in that country is worrying as the rival factions are engaged in street battles and aerial bombardments despite a 72-hour ceasefire agreement. Zimbabwe so far evacuated 63 citizens from that country. 3 other citizens are stuck in the war-ravaged nation, where the war has left over 520 people dead and more than 4,300 injured or maimed. Zimbabweans have expressed dismay over reports that the government has bought a $54 million jet for President Emmerson Mnangagwa. ZimLive reports that Mnangagwa started using the plane last week at the Transform Africa Summit and during the International Trade Fair in Bulawayo. Presidential spokesperson George Charamba has not responded to calls on his mobile phone. Zimbabweans joined the rest of the world today in commemorating International Workers' Day amid economic challenges in the Southern African nations. We'll give you more details shortly. Iphephandaba lebulenjini be-internet eleZimLive libeka ukuba uhulumende usethengele umongameli Emmerson Mnangagwa indizamtshina entsha. Indizamtshina le ibiza izigidi ezingama-54 zamadola eMelika, 54 million United States dollars. Kasenelisanga ukukhuluma ngodaba lolu, lesikhulumeli sakhe umnumzana George Charamba ngoba bengaphenduli umakhalekhukhwini. But some people are celebrating or commemorating International Workers' Day. Let's hear one of the people who actually spoke to Cotton Manguja in Harare.
Vashandi nasi kungouya zuva ranhasi kungombeya mabasa acho hakuna. Hurumende yakapromisa mabasa akawanda kupromisa kuvanhu, asi mabasa acho hatina kuaona. Vana vari kungosvika mukwegura havana kana mapayslip. Hurumende ngaite kuti vana vedu vashande vawane mabasa vagogona kuzotichengeta. Iko zvino chirere ugochirera. Tisu takungokwera tichirera. Tini stage yokuti vana vatirere isu. Tava vakweguru. Tava kuma 70 years. Hatina kana penjeni. Dzimwe nyika vanhu vakakwegura sesu vanopuwa mapenjeni vachinda kunokora mari. Isa hapana chatinokora. Welfare anongwa mara tijesi asingatengi chinhu anongotenga airtime. saka tiri kutambura zvisingaiti. Mwari hurumende yatibetsera kuti tigone kugara zvakanaka. Tiri kuchema vana vedu vasina chokuita vawana mabasa.
That was a Zimbabwean worker speaking with Studio 7's Cotton Mangusha in Harare. And back to the topic of the day. Zimbabweans say they are actually worried about the way the country is going following revelations by Al Jazeera that in the Century and other publications about alleged rampant corruption in the country linked to Mr. Mnangagwa, his vice, and their close associates. Several scandals, including the Willowville or Willowgate motor vehicle buying and selling scheme, the maize buying and selling scam, and others have attracted international attention, but the suspects linked to the senior government officials or ministers were never put behind bars. And joining us right now to discuss this issue, I guess we've got Mr. Mtutu Zimatutu. Okay, so I'm told we now have only Ms. Nomvula Mukoni, who is a member of the Opposition Citizens Coalition for Change. In this capacity, she's speaking on her behalf. Ms. Mukoni, welcome to the show. Ms. Mukoni, can you hear me? Hello, Ms. Mukoni? We seem to have a deadline there. So maybe, Ms. Mukoni, can you hear me? Okay, we'll try Mr. Yes, I can hear you now. Ms. Mukoni, how are you? Yes, can you hear me? No, I think we'll have to call her back again because we seem to have a very bad line. So maybe during that time when we are looking for her, we can actually read some questions and some messages from our callers. We've got Tafara Tahwa. He wrote on Facebook, that is Studio 7 English Facebook page. He says, my question is why nobody has yet been arrested following the Al Jazeera corruption expose. To date, zero, nothing, no one has been arrested, but we are witnessing convictions of opposition members for merely trying to fight corruption. So remember, we are still trying to get hold of Mr. Mtutu Zimatutu, ZimLive editor, and we are still trying to get Mr. Tafaso Mwadi, ZANU-PF Communications Director. Ms. Mkuni, can you hear me? Ms. Mkuni, are you there? So I think
I'm there.
Now we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Thank you very much. So there are these so-called scandals that are tied to President Emmerson Mnangagwa. You heard that there is a deal that was signed by Mr. Takwirei that involves some chrome. And then we also have some issue to do with a gold scam that was exposed by Al Jazeera. What's your take on all this?
Please come again.
So this issue concerning the president is said to be involved in some kind of scandals. We've heard about the chrome deal that was signed in 2017. And we also said we heard about the gold scandal, involving a lot of people. So what is your take on all these kind of things?
My take is that I think it's true because can't so much resources like gold, and we still have the country so poor. Where is the money going? People are really producing gold. Where is the gold going? There's nothing. So to me, there's no smoke without fire. Something is wrong somewhere.
Is it not speculation? Maybe I'm talking on behalf of those that are not here. Is it not speculative, or why do you think it's true?
I can't say it's true. I'm also saying it could be speculation, but they must do it, because why would people bring up when there's nothing? And at the same time, we are not fruit of the gold. And the country is getting poorer by the day.
Okay, thank you very much. So she's saying they there's no smoke without fire. Let's go to Mr. Matutu. Mr. Matutu is the, Zim Live editor. He's in South Africa right now and he's traveling. So he said I should talk to him in the next 5 minutes and he has to call. So, Mr. Matutu, there are several scandals allegedly linked to President Emmerson Mnangagwa. His vice, Constantino Chiwenga, that is Mr. Chiwenga, businessmen Mr. Kutawashe Takwire and others. And now we understand the government has bought a $54 million jet for President Mnangagwa. In a nutshell, Mr. Matutu, give us your thoughts on this.
Thanks, Mr. Dube, for inviting me on the program. Well, I think that it's quite clear to everyone, especially. Sorry, I must say that I'm on the road.
Yes.
So there's a possibility that my neighbor might go out. But anyway, I would say it's quite clear to Zimbabweans in general that their government is spending beyond its heads. Not only that, it's also spending on things that ordinary Zimbabweans do not gain any benefit from. And I would say that the jet is just part of ongoing expenditure on things that don't bring any value to Zimbabweans, that don't bring any benefit to Zimbabweans.
So we know that you actually got that scoop, Mr. Matutu, concerning the jet. So tell us a bit about it in brief.
Well, yeah, thanks. As you know, we've been working in this business for very many years. Myself and yourself, for sure. And you develop sources as you go on. Unfortunately, the Zimbabwean government is a very it operates in a very opaque way. It's not, nothing is declared. They just do things that they do things without public consultations, without certain things, and then you just wake up one day and then you find that $54 million of your money has been spent on a jet, which we do not hear the finance minister talk about in parliament or talk about in any interview anyway. So you just wonder where did this money come from? But that's how they operate, unfortunately. You just have to find out. And it's our public duty as journalists to try and find out. And I think that that's what we did on this particular one. We found out. We knew from October last year that they approved the acquisition of this aircraft. Mm-hmm. A French-made fortune. Sorry, now I'm distracted. But I think it's Anyway, it's a French jet, a business jet, one of the top business jets that money can buy. And they've acquired it, we understand, on taxpayers' money because we gave the presidency an opportunity to comment on our story, and the spokesperson for the president, the question that was put to him was, whose money is this? Is it his money? Is it his private jet? Or it's state money? And then his response was, is he a private president? So the answer then, because also they're failing in communication. I mean, you can't fail to communicate a very simple thing. You need to justify why you think that it's useful to spend $54 million of our money buying a private jet. But what they do is their approach to communications, their approach to dealing with the public that owns this money that they are spending, is just one of arrogance, and it's like, why are you bothering us? We don't want to tell you. And it's just a very sad story, but it's just one of many other things that are happening where the people's money is not being used in a proper way.
Yeah, siyakuzwa kakhulu, siyakuzwa ukuthi ufuna ukuhamba khona manje. So sicela usifakele ngesindebele ngamafitshane khona ukuthi kambe indizamtshina le ingaphi okwamanje, igcinwe ngaphi njalo linalize litrace la ithola inga.
Okay. Indizamtshina le yabuya Africa for the first time. Yeah, Papa isuka eParis, eFrance. Yalenda eSouth Africa, eJohannesburg. And then khonapho uqalisa nokaMarch basebeyileta eZimbabwe yafika yalenda Robert Gabriel Mugabe airport. Basebeyisusa bayihambisa eManyame Airbase because kumele sicaba ukuthi maku indizamtshina kapresident kuthi ukuthi isetshenziswa ngabantu obviously it will fall under the military, so that's why they're probably keeping it eManyame Airbase. So then kwasokuyaqala le ndawo ze-corruption amacala wenkohlakalo la awavezwa Al Jazeera indaba zegolide lezi bafika beyabona ukuthi singayikhipha manje le nto iqalise ukuthi umongameli aqalise ukuphapha ngale ndizamthina kuze sifake ebuzimeni labantu at that time abantu babe very very aware and babe tense asikubeke njalo ukuthi ibala lesindebele ukuthi kwakuhamba njani, but then they decided that sizayigcina mbijana, then umoya lo ungadlula lokho then sesizayiveza. So base beyiveza eVictoria Falls ngeWednesday le esiphuma kiyo bekule meeting lapho an African leaders meeting base umongameli walenda ngayo lapho and then isuka lapho the next day sorry, I think it was 2 days later
trade fair
yes wahamba ngayo trade fair wayavula trade fair ngayo yasibuyele yara kayibona isibuyele eJoburg futhi now asikwazi khonapho ukuthi eJoburg kwenziwa kumbe izogcinwa lapho ukuthi umongameli mayesehamba uzoyithatha ahambe ngayo or they are doing some other things to it. I don't know, maybe bayipenda bayafaka amakhala zeZimbabwe, who knows, maybe kuzothiwa ndizamtshina for ED, we don't know. But kukhona bakwenzayo khona, yes. So I don't know, we really don't know what their program is ngale ndizamtshina, but we know yes, this is ndizamtshina, and we also know that kuthiwa bathenga ama-helicopter yi-4 for VIP transport, which means essentially I think this is for the rallies that are coming, I'm sure. Don't be surprised if you see the vice president on one, the president using the other, and so on. But that's what we understand. The helicopter is for VIP transport. We don't know what exactly or what but at some point it is our goal.
No, thank you very much Baba Matutu. Siyawazi uyachayela khona manje ungathina lokusasa sakudinga futhi ngendaba ezifanayo ngesikhathi esibuyayo. Thank you so much. That was Mr. Mtutu Matutu. Is the Zim Live editor. Siyabonga kakhulu ungathina lokusasa baba.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
so I think we're supposed to take a break, but this is a hot topic. So we'll go to Mr. Mavaza. We failed to get Mr. Tafaso Mukwadi. I think the Zimbabwean phones are a problem today. Mr. Mavaza, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gibbs, and welcome, Zimbabwe.
Thank you so much. You are a bit far. Can you come close to your phone? I can hardly hear you. Yes.
Am I clear now?
You are very clear now. So there are these scandals that the president, the vice president, and others close to the presidency are actually linked to. Look at the gold scandal. Then you look at the Chrome deal. All these kind of things. Some people are saying, it brings some good light to the presidency. So what's your comment on that?
The first thing, Gibbs, is that these so-called scandals, none of them is pointing to the president or the president or the first family, so to speak. These are only allegations with no proof, no evidence. People who are talking about, in the first place, the gold mafia, they are simply talking about an allegation. They say it is believed that the gold is taken from Zimbabwe. It is believed that the gold is sold in Dubai. There is nobody who is definitely saying we have found a bag of gold. This is the gold. It came from Zimbabwe. None. Even the documentary by Al Jazeera, which took 2 years, they failed to find the actual gold or actual cash. The only proof they came up with is the money laundering in South Africa, which has nothing to do with Zimbabwe, nothing to do with ZANU-PF, nothing to do with the president. Then the Chrome deal and the Moti issue, none of that points to the president. It simply says it is believed that the president was paid money. It is believed that his son has been employed by the ZDI. It's all a belief. In other words, it's very clear now that all these scandals are a creation and the magnified extremes of these people who want to put Zimbabwe in a very, very, very wrong picture. It is a wrong figment of their imagination, which has no truth, no relevance to what's happening in Zimbabwe. So
but when you look at Mr. Mavaza, when you look at some of the things that we saw in the Al Jazeera documentary, it is very unlikely that you can call the First Lady and she responds in that way that she did. One. Secondly, we have seen that there are some people who actually made claims that we know the president is in it. You know, the president is the key man here, and we have corrupted him. At the end of the day, he's getting what he's getting. I mean, when we are a newspaper or a publication, we only use the word alleged, since it has not been proved in court that it is absolutely true. Exactly. So there are allegations, yes, we agree, but there are dots that you can put together. Just 1 minute on that.
The problem is we don't put dots together on people's characters. You have said it is an allegation because it has not been proved. And again, we are talking about what people say. What Hubert Angel said, that I can phone the First Lady and phone somebody who spoke, and we don't know whether it was the First Lady or not, but he alleged that he called somebody, and we heard a voice, and nobody had said that is the voice of the First Lady. Even if it was, she actually said in a response, whatever you've said, repeat it to the father. We don't know whether it's talking to Father Mkonori of the Catholic priest, or Father Guti of Guti Church, or Father Makandiwa of which father. He just says talk to the father. Then there are people with warped minds who are intended to demonize the party, to demonize the country. They are now saying father means president. What a joke. There's no definitive truth in all what has been said in Al Jazeera documents. For 2 years, they failed to come up with evidence which can be seen. No V11, no evidence except an allegation. The Moti allegation, none of it points to the president except allegations to say.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Mavaza. Can you put that in Shona? We are calling now Miss Barbara Kwangwara of CCC. So while we are putting that in Shona, we are calling her Barbara Kwangwara. Right now, she belongs to CCC. We have lost one of the CCC fellows. So quiet in Shona, Baba. 2 minutes.
tiri kuti isu muchidimbu mafunga ari kubwereketwa nevanhu ekuti hurumende iri kuita uori kana kuti mutungamiriri wenyika yeZimbabwe vaMnangagwa vari kuita uori. Hazvina chokwadi mazviri. Hakuna ari kuti takaona zvakati zvichiitika. Kune nyaya yegoridhe yanga iri kutaurwa yakazezesa nyika dzese. Hakuna akabuda nemufananidzo kana nenyaya inobatika yekuti apa ndo pakapinda goridhe, iyi ndo mari yakabhadharwa goridhe. Mari ikabhadharwa inooneka mafambiro ayo. Tiri kungoudzwa zvakataurwa nenhubu, narada, danunzva, tunzva, nhundira mutsime dzaingonyebera kuti dzinoziva mutungamiri wenyika, dzinotamba nemutungamiri wenyika. Munhu wese anotaura zvaanenge afunga, muromo hauzarirwe nerwizi.
So you cannot call those people nhundira mutsime when they are expressing their views. I think that is a bit regrettable.
No. Hamuna kunzwisa baba. Nhundira mutsime haisi kutaura zvainofunga, iri kunyeba, iri kutaura kuti ini ndinoziva mutungamiri wenyika. Asi haisi kutaura kuti zvandamuziva mari yandaba ndeyake, ini ndinokuziva iwe Gibbs, ndikaba kuno ukaziva kuti ndaba nezita rako. Saka kune vazhinji kana uchinge wangoshandisa zita remunhu zvisiri pamutemo unenge wavanhundira mutsime.
Thank you, Mr. Mavaza. Yes, thank you so much. We're coming back to you shortly. Let's get Miss Barbara Kwangwara. Miss Kwangwara, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gibbs.
Yes, so now these allegations that the president, his vice and others are corrupt. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree with that notion.
Why?
Yeah, they are corrupt because if you are a leader, to start with, where I come to him, if you are a leader and your people are engaged in corrupt activities, you arrest them, you release them without any charges, and yet the evidence is there that they've stolen or maybe abused the citizens' funds. It means we are also corrupt. I just want us to go back to the issue, Priska Mfumira, the issue of this former Minister of Health, the issue of Henrietta Rushwaya, and now he is being implicated in this gold mafia. The Mnangagwa is being implemented. Obviously, he is part and parcel of this corruption. That's the reason why he is failing to contain corruption. He knows there is corruption. He is failing to contain it because he is also corrupt, Gibbs.
And some people are saying there's nothing wrong with the president also getting a presidential jet that is worth $54 million. What's your take on that?
I'm surprised by these people who are saying there's nothing wrong. How can you acquire a 56 million jet when your country is in shambles? Your country is sinking. The health delivery system is dead. Education sector is dead. Civil servants are being paid peanuts. Workers are being paid useless Zim dollars. Today is Workers' Day. And, it's so sad. There's nothing to celebrate, Gibbs. Mm-hmm. Things are not all right in Zimbabwe. And those people that say it's good for the president to acquire a 56 million jet, they are mad. They're not serious about this country. These are the criminals. Not surrounding Mnangagwa, but they are the criminals together with Mnangagwa. Yeah, now we know who the criminals are. Yeah, ngiyavumelana laba bathi khona umkhokheli oweZimbabwe uMnangagwa ligweregwe ngoba ungabona ungumkhokheli abantwana betshontsha bangene babotshwe bakhululwe kungelacala eletheswe kibo wena uzithulele zwi kusho ukuthi lawe uyaphatha impaselo ubugweregwere bona lobo yikho esehluleka ukuthi abothe abantu bona la kuyafanana lezakhi iZimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission ukuthi iyasebenzisa imali engange 33 million ukuthi irane i-commission kodwa akula even one muntu osawabotshwa i-corruption ungakhangela ngoba nabasezakhi ngabantu bakhe laye kathi into ze-gold mafia lezi into zegolide lezi uphakathi even indaba ye-jet play even ijet le kuthiwa uthenge 50 izigidi eziyi-56 million ukuthi uyisa ngaphi ufuna ukuya ngaphi imigwaqo ifile ufuna ukuphapha phezulu nxa usuyehlile-ke uzahamba ngaphi.
Siyabonga isikhathi tu Mr. Mabaso, we're going to give you 10 seconds but the time is up. So, but we wish to thank you for joining our show today, and we have come to the end of the show. We wish to thank our guests who came today, and let's meet again next time. This is Gibbs Dube in Washington, D.C. saying, good night, Zimbabwe.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.